Hey everybody, it's time for a stream. Welcome in, Mac, Theron, Hudson, Al, Game. We are making a game. And you know what? The engine is coming along. It's actually working pretty good. Got a few updates from last time that I'm happy to show off. So check it. We got partner logic working. It is not immediately obvious, but the partner HP does actually show up in the top corner. Additionally, you can swap positions. This is not going to be buried in an option menu. It'll be a hotkey at some point. For now, it's just kind of, go to tactics menu to swap. That does not cost a move to do. And you can change partners, and that does cost a move to do. These are all temporary partners. It's placeholder stuff, but... And then the partner can actually attack. You know, even if he doesn't have any actual moves that make sense. Yeah, it's actually working. We got all kinds of combat animation and stuff going on here. Pig, you can't do any damage that way. It's not gonna work. It's, you know, it's all coming together. There's a lot of them. Need to actually fight here. It's because this guy's got such high defense in the front row. Totally unfair. And partner can only deal 1 damage. Always. But snail partner has 1 defense. So it all works out. Look, we're doing it's working. There are health bars. We're blocking. We're winning. Now there's no victory animation or anything. Battle just abruptly ends. And notice the enemy on the overworld is now gone because we won the combat. So we'll hook that up into like spawn some coins. You got physics. We got physics. Well, that's good. Oh, I was really worried about the how we were gonna manage like coming back to the same scene after going into a battle. And it's a really dumb solution. I wonder if I can actually make this. Yeah, I think I can. So the solution is basically you can just remove things from the scene and then put them back later. And so all I do is I remove the entire room, hold on to it, and then load up the battle. And when the battle's done, I put the room back into place exactly as it was, and then run logic to like delete the sprite from the battlefield or whatever. But yeah, it works. That's functional. One thing I'd like to do before we get too much into stuff is I want to make some little temporary icons for partners and player. Gotta love it when it works. True. Icons. Is this the one? Yeah, we'll add some ray tracing. Yeah, yeah, when you put it that way. Now, there's a major system that we haven't even started yet, and that's badges. And I don't know what we're going to call them. It's not going to be badges. Maybe modules. Modules might be a good way to do it. Bug Fables called them medals. Paper Mario's been sticking with badges. Hollow Knight called them charms. But just a thing that you can equip, wherein you have limited equipment slots. Yeah, modules would work for the robot. I've got it. Yes. Al remembers. I have an idea for the badge system, and it's going to be Tetris inventory. So not only do you have a limited number of spaces for your equipment, just like, Thousand Year Door, Bug Fables, all the rest, but also they're going to have actual geometric shapes, as though you are fitting them into a circuit board. Now, that does mean that I'm going to need to scale up the number of slots by some factor of like 2 or 3. Because otherwise, if you just say, well, the badge has, it's 3 badge points to use this standard badge, well, it's like there's not a lot of shapes for 3. 6, however, okay, that's reasonable. Because, I remember Thousand Year Door, the exchange was that, like, I think most badges that would give you a new attack, actually, maybe I should just look up the list of the badges, but I think it was something like most badges that give you a new attack are typically going to cost you 2 badge points. There are the one that increases your strength for a character, either the player or the partner. I think those cost 6. That was not the most expensive. The most expensive badge in the game was Quick Change, which costs 7 badge points to use. And you can choose, when you level up, you can choose between getting 5 HP, 5 flower points or mana, or 3 badge points. So a 6, that is 2 entire levels spent solely on being able to equip 1 badge, which is pretty significant. All right, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna make a, can I not have the collision shape? Or whatever, what is the green? The green is just, okay. Those are just gizmos. I can just turn those off, right? Toggle, how do I toggle gizmos? If you turn grid off? Okay, I can turn the world off. It's this green line that's bugging me right now. All right, well, all I'm wanting to do here is just grab this. Start out on a 3. I'm not 100% sure, but it's gonna be something like maybe even some predefined regions that get unlocked as you go. Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, what I want to do is basically just this. Incredible. Don't even need this part. I just need the head. All right, that's gonna be an icon, actual icon, right there. Bug flying around my face. Incredible. Iconic. Okay, next up. Get rid of you. Don't save those changes. Okay, save those changes. No, I didn't change anything. We're good. Actors. Frog actor. Look at him. Frogging around. Frogging around like he owns the place. Is one. Is a bug flying around my head. A nerve. Oh yeah, hang on. That would make it easier is if I turn off environment. And hide collision shape. So these are going to be used in a few different places. First off, important to note that these are placeholders. Like, there is no actual frog partner. So we're not too worried about this guy looking a little bit not quite right. I can leave that. There should be one fightable frog. I mean, we spent so long making his art. Why not? Why not have a random frog? The Battle Master frog. As an homage. An homage. He'll be at the bottom of the pit of 100 trials. No, we're going big. It's the pit of 1,000 consecutive fights. And if you take damage, you have to go all the way back to the start. We're not messing around in this game. See, this guy's going to be... His entire body is going to be... His entire body is going to be in the portrait. Don't save changes. The pit of 100 of something. It's perfect. Get these little bits of gray out of here. Super important that those are gone. His head is his body, and I think that's neat. Very, very Circle Bird-esque build. A circle build, if you will. You will, won't you? Okay, there you go. That's good enough. Partner logic. So I ended up putting the partner base stats in the same file as the enemy stats, and that's fine for now. Frog, pig, snail. All right, we got it. Frog, pig, snail. All right, flatten this, or no, save it, and then flatten it as icons. Yes, overwrite. The recolor variants, that'll be fun. That will kind of be a fun part of just like, all right, now let's just make a slightly different variant of all these enemies, give them a few different attacks, give them, you know, a little bit different stats. All right. So now we need combat menu. Yeah, that's the one. Show in File Manager. Now pull out our folder of art so that we can update our icons. Replace file. Shiny versions. Now there's an interesting idea. Holographic. Okay, so now we've got updated icons. Yep, there they are. I can see them there. So we need to open up our stat overlay scene. Or individual stat overlay panel. This guy right here. So this sprite 2D, that's the one that needs to be updated. So we need main icon is a sprite 2D, and that is panel / sprite 2D. Some elite enemies, yeah. Your Amazy Daisy, the typical stuff like that. All right. So when we process, let's keep track. So get pool right here gets processed every frame for now, but we probably don't want to do it every frame. We'll figure out how often to do it later, once we need to start optimizing. Don't prematurely optimize. Give it time. Wait it out. Let's see here. If related stat index is 1, we're looking at a partner. So when we ready up, let's see, update icon. It's gonna be basically this stuff of if this, if that. All right, so if it's 0, then main icon dot texture equals, what does it equal? How do we get that? Let's look at our menus for the battle. So I've got some kind of like get icon, or yeah, here we go. This guy right here. Texture, load the icons. So we've got the right texture here. Can we do this? Does it have to be a preload? Okay, so it's not the texture that's changing, really. That should be set. We're not changing that. Region rect is changing. And that's a lot simpler. Yeah, like this here. So let's see, what does this look like? X index and Y index. Okay, yeah. All right, icon index, pass in an integer. And do it regardless of this. And we'll keep track of an old one as well. Main icon dot region rect, take X index and Y index. So we're gonna have var old icon index equals -1, which should be wrong. And whenever we're getting the pool, have var icon index getting set here, and we'll do an update if it's different. Let's see. icon index for player health should be 20, and then count our way up after that. 20. If it's partner HP, it should be 21 plus the partner index. And otherwise, we can just leave it at whatever it is. All right, so after we get the pool, old icon index equals icon index, so we can watch for a change. If old icon index does not equal icon index, then update the icon to icon index. Let's see if that works. That might actually be enough right there. That'll stop it from refreshing the region rect every frame. Let's see what we get. Nope. No dice. I don't know why. Update icon is getting called. Icon index is getting set to a value. I don't know. Why isn't it? All right, let's just print icon index to start with. Make sure that we are actually hitting that function. Yep, we've got 20, 21, and -1. So that looks good. So that is happening. Is this happening? Oh. I'm a fool, it seems. What we need to do is actually change the texture on this to the actual one we want to use, which is this one. And then update it to be region enabled. And then let's go with starting with this one for sizing. Size this one back down. Maybe put it behind it. Okay, that should work. That was our problem, I think. Okay, everything looks good except for that part. That's okay. We now have heart with our now when I change partners, I want to see this frog change. I want to see this frog icon in the top change. Let's see if it happens. Heck yeah. Well, cool. Now I don't like that this is here, but whatever. Yeah, there's a problem there. If it's 2, then main icon is already correct. If icon index equals -1, return. Don't do anything. Nope, still getting that. Still getting that big ol' heart back there. Oh, was the... Yeah, let's look at the stat panel here. Yep, oh, yep, that's it. Okay, that's fine. So for that, because it's been modified here, we can just do that. that was our issue there. So look good now. Just a lightning bolt. Just a lightning bolt. We're good. It's done. Next up. Oh, I haven't even told anybody what the plan for tonight is. I mean, it's pretty obvious from the title and everything. I'm going to try and get the status effect system built in. We're going to need to do a little bit of art, get some placeholder status effect icons, and then try updating some attacks to make them deal status effects and then process those status effects. And maybe we get into the actual status effect coin flip system that I've been discussing. So right now, there's something amiss here. Rolling tackle. Rolling tackle. Is that one of the... Did I leave that in as a move? In the enemy direct... Yeah, I guess everybody's got enemy snail roll. All right, well, let's give Farmer Frog partner a different move. And let's give our pig a different move. There we go. Fixed. Easy. All right, in our battle menus, the next big thing is the menu for swapping partners. I want it to include the icon of the thing, you know? So icon, change that to be 21 plus partner num, which indexes perfectly, I hope. Let's see. Swap partner. Yeah. Hey, yeah. I wonder if there's a way to cause an image to be grayscale easily. A texture, a sprite. Okay, so remote, battle, where even does live this? Battle menus, combat menu, there we go. This is the scroll container, the V-box, combat menu item. Which in turn contains a panel and a sprite 2D. There it is, that's the one. Is there a way to tell this image to be grayscale or anything like that? I know we can do modulate color, but that just lets us change the color, but not to... We can change it to black, but we can't actually change the hue with that. I'm worried that is something that can only be done with a shader or a pre-baked grayscale image, which honestly would not, for such a small thing, would be very doable. Because I don't think there's any other quick way just to get a nice grayscale version. We can do silhouette very quickly, but not grayscale. Okay, we'll leave it as is for now. Start 6 minutes into that video. Okay. So no grayscale is okay. Partners are not completely done. The basic functionality is there. We can swap. It's Mario RPG. Everybody loves Mario RPG. So you can swap positions. You can actually change out partners. That costs a turn. But when partners die, they just kind of flatten out just like enemies do. not ideal. What we want is an actual, like, passed out animation. Or pose, I guess. It doesn't have to actually be an animation. Just a single static pose is fine. And we're not going to bother with that for these placeholder sprites. We're going to wait until we have actual partners before we bother with that. Put that on the back burner. That is for later. Hit him with the oink boink. Pow. Okay. Let's do the big thing. Let's do status effects. That's something we've been talking about a while. Let me pull up my spreadsheet. Well, not spreadsheet. My idea sheet here. Status effects. Status effects. Okay, I wrote up several paragraphs to describe how it's going to work. And there are going to be a lot of them. Probably. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 that I haven't really figured out exactly. Yeah, some of those may not end up getting used. We'll see. But yeah, let's plan for a system that can manage like a decent number of status effects, but at least a dozen. Bare minimum a dozen. We gotta have poison and sleep. Everybody loves those, right? Okay, so for these status effects, all right, let's skip over to Barrel Volcano. There we go. For the status effects, when anyone has a status effect, poison turnip. When anyone has a status effect, they're going to have a little icon next to them to indicate that, hey, this person has this status effect. They will vertically stack on top of each other. Maybe a little bit of overlap, so you can see. So you can still clearly see the icons. Now, here's the tricky thing. Part of the system that I've discussed is that status effects should have two factors: duration and what's the terminology I used? Oh, thank you for the follow there. I appreciate that. Let's see. Well, in my document, I listed it as level, but I don't think that's what I've been describing it as. I think I had a better term, like a potency. I think potency is the word I've been throwing around. Maybe strength would work. So, for instance, poison in a normal paper-like RPG is just you take 1 damage every turn until the poison runs its course, until the status effect is gone, or you have been healed with something. Which is fine, but I think the system could be a lot more interesting and in-depth if we allow for 2 degrees of movement on that. You can have a level 2 poison for 3 turns, and that would do 2 damage a turn for 3 turns. Or a level 3 poison for 1 turn, which is going to deal 3 damage at the start of your next turn. I think it allows for a little bit more interesting interplay of things. Hopefully it doesn't get crazy. Now the question is how to properly indicate both of those figures at once. I've got a few different ideas. Let's open up. Let's start doodling. We're gonna do some doodles here and see what we can luck into here. Uh, 600, 500. No.
Why have I been here so long?
Day, hello. Welcome in. And thank you for 47 months. That's almost a year. That is a ridiculous amount of time. Like, noticeably ridiculous. Oops. Oh, I accidentally turned on my switch. There we go. 3.92 years? That's almost a year. You see, because that's the gag. That's all we ever do here. It's that one joke. Where's my... Oh. Alright, let's talk status effects. So close to a year. So very close. Alright. So we got Dabble here. And he's roboting about. You know what? I like that the design is pretty easy to just doodle. That works pretty well. Several Twitch children into the ether. Status effect. It's gonna look something like an icon in a panel, maybe with a little flag on it. And then it can have some kind of appropriate icon. Almost a leap year. And then when you have multiple status effects, they'll stack like this, I think, would be good. Still want to make sure they're full size and that the image is clearly visible, but that's the general idea. You're typically not going to have a lot of different status effects on you at once, but it could happen, and some people are going to push the system to its limits for funsies, and I'm cool with that, and I want the system to manage it well. Like, maybe we get a maximum stack before it, like, I don't know, it starts collapsing them more and more to make it fit on screen until you can barely see what any of them are, but it needs to fit. Okay. So there's two pieces of information we need to add to this. We have the first main piece of information, which is what status effect do you have on this unit? Sleep, poison, frozen, anything like that. Additionally, I think it would be good if for a lot of these, we have some kind of animation, like some kind of change to the main animation to imply it. Like for poison, give the character a green tint and put them in a different idle state that indicates poison. For sleep, maybe a unique status effect for that. Gosh, I wonder. In Thousand Year Door, does every enemy have a unique sleep animation? Because I would not be surprised. That's going to be something to consider, is how to animate all these individual ones. I know they get away with some cheap stuff that doesn't take extra animation. Like, for instance, like time stop. You know how they demonstrate that is they just stop your animation and give you the little status effect bubble. For Poison, they recycle the "you are at low HP" animation and tint you green. For Frozen, they lock you in the "you have just taken damage" frame, like that, and then paste a big block of ice around you, and that's it. But they do all have some kind of tell that you don't have to just look at the icon for. That's important. So let's keep that in mind. But yeah, you can tell what you have, what status effect you have. We need to know how many turns are left, and also how strong is it? What degree of status effect is it? So Thousand Year Door, I'm gonna always bring back Thousand Year Door because it's the cleanest example. Bug Fables does a lot of things well, but there's not gonna be there's not gonna be a single screenshot showing off a status effect, is there? Let's see here. Let's search specifically for status effect, maybe. Well, okay, hang on. I've got a thumbnail of a video. Oh, wait. Here we go. From the Super Mario Files, which is an excellent guide here. All right. Check it right here. Oh, they do the tag too. Well, they do it more of a speech bubble, which I guess is fine. I'd rather mine look a little bit different. Square cards are in, though, for status effects. Can I find an example of a Bug Fables status effect icon? Any chance of a Bug Fables combat screenshot? I don't want to look at my own VODs. Okay, I'm seeing one thing that is... Okay, here we go. I think this looks right. Yeah. Icon. I don't see a duration listed. I wonder if that implies that it's a single turn duration. Or maybe they just didn't include duration at all. It's possible. That would be unexpected. I wonder if... Hang on, how did Bug Fable status effects even work? Were they always either... one turn or forever? Let's see here. Turns. Let's see here. Oh, interesting. I did not remember this, but apparently in Bug Fables, if you have more than one status effect, it just cycles through them. Like it doesn't show them all at once. It only shows one icon at a time, and it cycles. That's interesting. Let's see here. Some status effects include a number, like number of extra turns or whatever else. Poison. Maybe to avoid clutter. It is a more status effect intensive combat system. Like a lot of the builds are built around intentionally inflicting specific status effects to give you other bonuses. So yeah, freeze is always a one-turn thing. It's cured as soon as you get attacked. Or I think you, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, a lot of these are just you lose it when when the battle is over or something. Or when you cure it. Bug Fables Poison. How many turns? Like, I don't think Bug Fables Poison heals automatically because there's a badge that specifically is built around, like, you want to stay poisoned. Oh, wait, hang on. Ah, here we go. Nope, exception that proves the rule. There's a badge that says that it prevents poison from expiring. So, how does it normally work? How does it normally work? Bug Fables, Poison, how many turns? Oh, it might be attack specific. Okay. So let's assume that Bug Fables just does not tell you how many turns a status effect lasts for. As far as I can tell, that's the case. And it's been too long since I've actually played it, so I would not know. I could look up my my playthrough, but I don't wanna. That sounds like a lot of work. Okay. So okay, duration could be pretty long. Like, I could see things lasting a long time, like status effects lasting a long time. If status effects were limited in some way, to a number of turns, then we could have some kind of like system where the icon itself like indicates like, oh, this one has 2 turns left of sleep, and then that status effect is gone. But I don't know if I can rely on that being the case. Like, maybe I want more than that. Like, what if I wanted like a bunch of turns of this status effect, and so when you get the status effect, you suddenly see it light up like a Christmas tree, and you realize, oh no, this is bad. Actually, maybe that's not a bad idea, because that grants this unexpected bonus of being able to see how long you have had the status effect already. It's like, oh my gosh, I've been my partner's been asleep for 5 turns already. Somebody wake him up. So that could be interesting. Stack onto that. Okay, so maybe off to the side, instead of having just a number, we could do something like that. Additionally, yeah, it's pips. I love that. And you know what? It kind of has a little bit of that like retro tech look that the main character does as well. So that kind of works for it. Okay, so if you have a status effect level 1, it's just going to be square box. But if it is any higher level, and what that means for different status effects has yet to be described, then the window is larger and just has a Roman numeral off to the side of it, and otherwise identical. And then it's lit up just the same. And so this would be 6 turns of level 2 sleep. And so when things are stacked, when multiple effects are stacked, if you had a level 1, it will look smaller, and that is okay. I don't know exactly how to do the pips, but we'll figure out a good way. I don't expect it to go crazy because, like, how many turns of stats effects do you need? Actually, there is one status effect that I do have in my list that actually would need 9, or some large number, and that is the equivalent of a Doom status effect, which is when this runs out, you lose, unless you do something about it. So it's like a race against the clock sort of status effect, in which case you need enough time to actually manage it and do something about it and dread it for a bit. I'm thinking like, okay, the theming I have in mind for this is have a specific status effect that is so a specific status effect that is just like no air. And I don't know how we'll do that exactly, but you know, some kind of like bubble, something. I'm thinking a flooded area that like mid-battle, the arena floods, big fancy effect animation of water filling up and then like a bunch of fish flying everywhere or something. And then suddenly you have, you know, X number of turns before you run out of air. Yes, it would act as a Doom effect. With the caveat of like, this would create a little situation for this one specific battle of like, you could just try and beat the fight really quick, but somehow it's going to be stacked against you where that's not an option. And instead, you have to manage this new, you know in Mario RPG, in like the first fight with Bowser where you have to attack the chain, that kind of, yeah, exactly, Al. Yes. Gosh, just with it. You're with it. You're on top of things. Yeah, you have to manage, like, continuing to deal damage while also extending this timer by fighting this other, probably non-attacking thing that in some way grants you more air. In which case, I don't know, 5 might be enough for like a status effect. Like maybe that's plenty. Okay. This seems doable, right? Whew. So, what do we need? Yeesh. This is gonna get tricky, isn't it? Obviously, we need the icons for status effects. But additionally, we're going to need the panel, which can come in 2 sizes. There's this thing where you're going through a flooded area and there are fish enemies, but you can drain it and then the fish are flopping around. Always fun. It's always fun to just have fish flopping around. Also, the plot has not gone in this direction, but like when I've been writing out the plot, it has not gone in this direction. However, you may recall the original Dapple Tales. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize I even used the gear as the text thing. In the original one, it implied going to the moon. And as a result, I've had it in the back of my head, like, okay, if we're making a no air status effect, that could be reused. It doesn't have to be water. It could be the vacuum of space. That would be a cool little callback to a later chapter. To date, the current trajectory of the plot that I've written out does not point to going to the moon. But maybe there could be some post-game or something, just to make that a possibility. Could do it with noxious gas, water, vacuum. It's all very possible to reuse that kind of effect. If it works out well, if the system feels appropriately tense and interesting for a fight, then absolutely let's try and make it work for some other things as well. But yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay. So we need the panels, the bubbles. How are we going to do the bubbles? We've got a few different ways we can do this. One is that every bubble is a sprite, like a unlit and a lit version of each. Now I'm uncertain on the bubbles. Do I want to just have a number next to it? Oops. Oh yeah, overworld puzzles would be fun. Especially if it's like one of those things of like a heavier than air gas. And so it's like you can go down on this part of the environment, but you gotta come up for air every once in a while, or else you're gonna take damage and go back to the start. And then you got to figure out like, wait, there's no way I can clear that gap. It's a puzzle. I got to figure out a way to make something there that I can stand on. It's amazing. This pip system, I don't know. Does that read at a glance? Like, if you have one status effect, if you have just one status effect, pips versus the advantage is that you can see how much you started with. Like, you can know at a glance, like, okay, I have 4 turns left out of a maximum out of my original number of 5, so I've gone through 1 turn of the status effect. Is it worth it to cure it or just eat the rest of the damage? Alternatively, I mean, it's pretty simple to just have the number 5. I guess we can build it out with just the number for the first pass, and we'll just keep this in mind as something we can try out later to fancy it up. But the level differences, that does need to be in there to indicate, like, okay, this is a level 2 effect, this is a level 3 effect. Oh my gosh, 3, yikes. And then we got the whole coin flip thing to deal with, which my main way of describing that is that's going to determine what level of, or maybe it's going to be determine how many turns you're hit with. You know? Like, okay, like this enemy deals level 1 poison and it has 2 coins worth of it. It's like, okay, so the most I'm gonna deal with is, like, if I get unlucky on the flips, I'm dealing with 2 turns of poison. Yeah, having 2 different dimensions does make this a little bit harder, but I feel like that works. Is that the enemy's attack dictates the level and then the coin flips dictate the number of turns so that you can, if you've got enough resistance or luck, you just don't get hit at all with the effect. All right, let's try some things here. Is there something I can pick at? Actually, yes, there is. The text bubbles. That's a pretty good look there. And then the general size of it is going to be about not quite this big, like that big on screen. And is that 100 by 100? That is about 100 by 100. Perfect. All right, let's draw a thing, I suppose. I'm gonna use one of these fancy brushes. Oh, actually, yeah, let's pull in this for the color of it. Oh, let's get rid of these tabs here. Done with this. It served its purpose. All right, 100 by 100, huh? Let's start by marking about where we're looking at for size. Okay, so it's got to fit in this. Gosh, it feels like I just want to have a nice, just a very crisp square thing here. Might be okay. You can barely see that. Well, I guess against the white background it doesn't pop very much, but that's fine. It's a pretty thick border. I guess one thing we need actual icons to go in this, right? And that is a very limited amount of space for icons. Like, it's not bad, but I guess the icons can be scaled down. In which case, this could be scaled up to look a little bit nicer. Like, maybe I want to do 200 by 200 for this initial one. Let's just see. $200 by 200. Yeah, let's go with a fairly large initial icon size, just so we can get a little bit more clarity. Yeah, that looks like that's going to be a lot better. Actually, I could probably scale it up a bit now. I like that. I think that's reasonable. Okay, get rid of this layer. Grab this color. fill this in. Just this nice parchmenty color. Now, I remember Thousand Year Door had some status effects use a different color bubble. I don't know if we're gonna do that. At least, definitely not for the start. But, you know, we'll see, we'll see. All right, and then we need a larger version of this. Let's go out to, you know what, let's actually change the canvas size. 600. Oops, no, not like that, not like that. All right, this is starting to get a little bit. Ooh, versus Smithy. Dun, 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 dun. And then he hits you with Sledge. 200 goes up to here. Well, maybe this is big enough for these two icons, considering all the extra. Yeah. Here, let's do this. Control E, Control J, T, Control R, T, this bug is bugging me. Bugs. It's what Al loves. He loves it. Okay, turns out we didn't need that then. Ooh, grabbing some tokens. What was today's Factorio post? It was like showing off science per minute charts. I hope there are bug enemies in this game. I just love fighting bugs. It's with all my spare time. Okay. Oh, this is a little bit, oops. Gosh, I love doing that. Bump it up a little bit. All right, let's build a little icon in here. What can we get away with size-wise here? 60 to 160, 40. You know what? Let's go for a full 100 by 100. So right here to here. Keep it in this region. Let's just do a poison icon, right? A classic poison. Well, that's a little bit much. It's a bit of a Jolly Roger more than poison, isn't it? right, let's just say that that's poison. Sure. It would be cool if we can keep it to like a single color. Wow, from a bee? Jeez. Sleep. A nice sleepy sheep, right? What color should a sleepy sheep be? Nice blue. Nice pale blue. Yeah. Oh no, 1,000-year door did sheep. We shouldn't do sheep. So we should do like... two squared. There we go. Sleep. Sleep icon. Nice and blue. These can change later. Frozen. Kind of a bluish white, right? Yellow Koopa Troopa. What? Oh, because of all... Yeah, okay. There were a lot of O's. Admittedly, there were a lot of O's. Yeah, the Z's may change color. I mean, that's got to be Snowflake. Let's see if we can change this. Oh, there we go. That looks good. Okay. What were some of my other status effects that I wanted to put in? Regeneration. Everyone loves a good regen. I like the idea of, just for readability, everything being very single color, monochrome. Oh, that's beautiful. Plus heart. All right. So there's some basic status effects we can use. Oh, and we need... we do need... Admittedly, we only need 2 of them, but we need... the potency levels. Excuse me. So we've discussed that the status effect system is going to be that you have both a number of turns as well as a potency. Now, I need to figure out the rules for stacking potency. That is probably very exploitable. Like, oh, I stacked a level 2 poison he's got a few turns of level 2 poison and a few turns of level 1 poison, so he's actually taking three poison damage per turn. It's like, is that good? Do we want to allow that? Maybe? Maybe that's fine? Shouldn't need to do level 1, but just in case, we'll go ahead and make the icon for it anyway. And you know what? Let's go ahead and make a 4 and a 5. I think it'd be really funny if the game is just... you never see anything higher. Like level 3 is the stuff you're seeing like towards the very end of the game, and then all of a sudden I hit you with a level 5 status effect. I think that would be funny. Like very final bossy right there. Final boss behavior. Exactly. Well, so this is not for the duration. This is for the potency. So this is the difference between your early game poison that deals 1 damage per turn and your late game poison that's dealing 3 damage per turn. Apparently, Bug Fables, the damage that you take from poison depends on how much HP you have. It's not fully percentage based, but it's threshold based, and I don't think I like that, because that means that like you go back and you're doing like an early game fight and it's gonna hurt more. Bone hurting poison. Oof, ouch, my status effect. Okay, I think that is our art pass, our initial run, first edition status effect icons. 100% not final. But we're taking some pride in it. I took some time to make it look nice. But this is not going to be what this ends up looking like. Okay. Now then. I like that, Al. I like that a lot. Oh, here's something for you, and here I'm gonna put that on here. Because viewers with a normal level of memory will remember that I've been doing a lot of research on status effects, and I've come across a vacuum in status effects. Work backwards from purple. It works. Curse was a good status effect in Dicey Dungeons. It was basically like 50-50 chance for the attack to just not do anything, and any dice you put on it to just be forfeited for nothing. Okay. Status effects. Poison. Poison is an easy one. You take damage every turn. the idea is that you are faced with a problem. You are going to run out of HP and lose, and so you are forced to take action to deal with that problem. You must expend resources to fight harder, to wrap up the fight, or expend resources to remove poison. In some way, you're going to have to waste a turn or other resources doing something about it. Fine. So that is your health pool is losing points every turn from a status effect. Alternatively, you can be hit with a non-status effect attack, something that just immediately reduces your health pool by a large amount. Cool. Oh yeah, not just a bunch of poison variants, which is kind of what I'm about to talk about. On the flip side, there are other pools of resources, and most common in RPGs is mana of some sort of power, a resource that you expend to do more things, harder attacks, healing, other special effects. Very common. It is accepted in RPG canon that sometimes you will see an attack that does not strike your health pool, but instead strikes your mana pool. Suddenly, you just lose some mana. There's a few examples of that in a lot of different franchises. That's not a weird thing to see. Even Thousand Year Door has one of those, where you lose a few flower points from the pink fuzzies in the jungle. But if you chart this out on a square of which pool the attack is doing, and direct attack versus damage over time, there's a glaring missing piece there. I don't think I can kind of think of one instance that you could... It would be a tough... Actually, I'm not even sure if I remember it correctly that it even applies to that. But that missing square, mana poisoning, like losing a little bit of your mana every turn until you do something about it. Oh, I gotta wrap up the fight quick or I'm gonna lose all my mana, or oh, I gotta use some items, some resources to cure that. I don't think I ever see that, and I think there's a pretty obvious reason why, in which there's no choice there. There's no, like with HP, it's like you got to think like, oh, do I have the resources? Should I just let that poison tick off so I can fight harder and finish the fight in time before I run out of HP? There's no penalty to running out of mana. It's just, oops, out of mana. Oh well. Alternatively, the choice can be, well, since I'm gonna lose the mana, then I may as well spend it on attacking the enemy harder. So it's a pointless... Damaging mana over time is a pretty pointless status effect because it doesn't make anything interesting. Losing HP when using a power that is cursed by an enemy. Now that is one I've seen done very effectively. Dicey Dungeons had a burn status effect that affected your dice, and so the idea was if you were hit for like burn 2, then 2 random dice that you rolled would be on fire. You could still choose to use them, but you would take damage from using them. So it created this very interesting ploy of like, I want to use these dice to deal damage, but I'm going to damage myself in the process. Is it worth it? A lot of times it is worth it. Especially depending on what you rolled, because the exchange rate for health versus pips, it's typically in your favor if you've got the right cards to use the dice for healing if you have like some kind of healing equipment. Dicey Dungeons was a really fun game and really well put together. It was just this cool, complex system that made you feel really clever for figuring it out. All right, status effects, and save it as a PNG so we can actually. move that in here. We have got to figure out how this is going to work. Racking up the tokens. Soundboard spam ahoy. More tokens. Okay. Where is this gonna live? So I think this needs to be similar to health bars in that it's going to attach to the actor. Let's go ahead and pull up a battle. Well, now you've just removed all sense of accomplishment. A sense of pride and accomplishment, no more. All right, where are the health bars stored? Health is stored in the bars. Remote. Battle. Actors. Okay, let's look at this middle guy here, Frog Farmer. Yeah, there he is. So, health bar. Oh, it's attached. Okay, it's attached to the character body, which makes sense. It is attached as a node 2D, and it is following him as this guy moves. Which I think we can mess with his position a little bit. So yeah, the health bar follows him, but that is because the health bar actually has code that is doing that, if I remember right. Yeah, health bar follows its target. I wonder if it would be worth. Also, status effects. When do status effects appear and disappear? This is getting complicated. Oh boy. So we'll just stack them somehow. I wonder if I need to be storing... you know what? Honestly, what it should be is that I should be correcting the collision box to match the top of the sprites and use that for things like hitbox of like, oh, where do I land on a sprite or whatever. What, can't target user Hillbilly Al at this time. Why not? Bot, what are you on about? I'm not sure I appreciate this, the tone you're giving me. That's a good question. Let's see here. Yes, that's Hillbilly AI. Ah, the age-old trick. You would think it's Hillbilly AI. Very, very clever troubleshooting there. Okay, status effects. They can be very similar to HP in that they are going to follow the character. I don't know if I want them on the health bar or not. No, I think let's just plop them on there. You did it. Let's just basically have another health bar object. Another object that we tack on. When the battle starts, Battle Manager actually creates an HP scene for each enemy. And we can similarly create a status effect container for every unit, not just the enemies. I'm realizing that I'm gonna need to make sure that some of this code gets moved off into a separate function, because later on, when like new enemies get added mid-combat, like from, I don't know, like calling for reinforcements or some move that summons a new enemy, we need to make sure that like all this stuff, like instantiating the health bar and making sure we're assigned the right properties, that happens regardless of whether it's at the beginning of the fight or in the middle of the fight. So file that one away. That this will need to be plopped into a function. But for now, let's just make something very similar to a health bar. Where are we storing that? Here we go, under battle. So let's create a new folder for status effect. Status effects. Now this is going to be tricky because we're going to need a few different scenes for this. First thing first. Let's grab the art. So we're going to need a status effect card. This will be a 2D scene. Starting with a sprite. This texture here, region enabled. Roughly here, what is that? Yeah, 0, 0, 200, 200. Are we gonna center it like this? We'll figure out the centering. Within that, we're gonna add an icon. All right, so let's start with bubble. And then this one will be called icon. This will also use the status effects setup, except it's a different region now. It is 0, 300, 100, 100. And let's just make sure we get that positioned well. Love it, love it.
Don't do it, no!
What did you get delivered? Was it a pizza? Icon, and then a second one for potency icon. Which is maybe like right over here. This guy right here. Sometimes this is going to be that. So we need to be ready for it. Don't count on it. I didn't think about the fact that it's going to be angled this way, but that does make sense. I wonder if I should have two different scenes for this. Small bubble, large bubble. Yeah, let's just duplicate this. And get rid of potency here. All right, bubble 2. It's gonna be like this, wherein potency is like this. So that'll be a level 3 poison status effect right there. Maybe we change the color of the panel to represent to further distinguish like stronger status effects. We'll consider that. All right. Regular icon and stronger icon. Okay. Happy birthday. I love it when it's Tupu's birthday. Always makes my day. Yeah, this should be okay. We can just toggle the visibility here. Okay. So that's a single status effect card. Oh, you know what? We should arrange this so that it matches the position here, so that no matter which one it is, it has the same tail spot. Dun, dun, dun. Smithy theme is so good. We'll do the other one, but it's not as good. Yeah, the opening is so iconic, and it just times with the sledge attack so well. Okay. So that's going to be a single card. Then we're going to have another scene called Status Effect Container. This one is going to actually manage the status effects. And I got to figure out how we're going to make this work. Because they're gonna stack. He may be an AI, but is he an owl? Because I really want to do this sort of offset thing where they go like that. You see what I'm going for there? Stacking upward. I think that would be nice. And we should never need more than that, but we are almost certainly going to need more than that. You don't want to know. Okay, I guess we need a status effect dictionary. Dictionary of status effects. What they do, when they do it. Sounds like it. Yeah, where does all the status affecting come in? Like, code-wise, a lot of status effects are going to operate at the beginning of the turn. Right? Are there any status effects that don't work at the beginning of the turn? Let's look through my big master list. Okay. So, status effect. Is there anything that couldn't be contained in a function that happens at the beginning of a turn? Okay. Regen or poison, anything like that, of just like a value changes. That happens once per turn at the beginning. Okay, strength up kind of stuff. That you could have some kind of unit-specific variable that gets set at the beginning of every turn of temporary attack buff or temporary defense buff. And if you have the status effect, you get it. If not, it sets it to 0. A random NPC holding a sign in the background. Just to let you know, just someone pops out of the bushes with a little picket fence, or a little picket sign. Picket fence. With an actual fence. Yeah, some of these, the functionality might be something that can just be done at the beginning of a turn. Never explained. It's just that's him. That's status effect. Status effect. Skip turn. Frozen sleep. Okay, sleep status effect. If you're asleep, this is okay. Turn flow is extremely tricky. I'm zooming in deep on turn flow and how it's going to be implemented. The current system, and I don't know if this is a good system, at the beginning of every turn, or I guess at the beginning of each side, when each side starts their set of turns, they are each given one action. You know, dealt one action they can use. And then when everyone on the side is out of actions, it switches over to the other team. Repeat. That's the process for the fights. So for things like haste, like where you get 2 turns, I can see that working. Is at the start of your turn you get 2 actions instead of 1. But what about sleep? It's like, do you get a turn? I guess not. I guess you just have no turn, so it would basically be your number of turns is set to 0. Okay, so let's say you have you and the partner. Let's bring up combat. Okay. We've got Dabble and the frog partner. Frog falls asleep during combat. And now Dabble is awake, Frog is asleep. So Dabble is the only one that gets a turn here. Dabble has an item that can cure sleep. So if he uses it at the start of his turn, then that should not only cure him of sleep, but also grant the frog that extra turn. But Dabble is in the back, which means that Frog's turn is processed first. Frog does not have a turn. I guess this still works. It just means you suddenly have this weird situation where the person in back takes their turn first, which almost never would otherwise happen. But I guess that's okay. Okay, let's say that every single status effect, although it may feed into some other system, like damage and stuff, that has to be managed, every status effect in some way will have some kind of function that happens whenever the player's side, whenever that unit's side starts their part of the battle. In which case, we will have a new directory called the Status Effect Directory. This is our big list of status effects. Like, we've got one for items, enemies. It's just the big block of stats. So similarly, we are going to have a status effect directory. And what does that look like? It will have a name. It will have a description, probably. Something that'll pop up as soon as you get that status effect. We'll have the icon index. Maybe we'll just call it index. No, it's fine. No, let's just go with index because the icons may change, but we can keep everything in the same order. Icon index. What else do we need? We need the action. What happens? What happens to the unit when it takes when its turn starts while it's poisoned? Well, it's this. It'll probably pass in the unit, and I guess from the unit you can get the status effect that it has, along with the potency and everything else. And that should be it. Like, temporarily, we can just say unit.hp .current, no, hp.change by 1. And that's it. But later, we will factor in, like, the actual status effect data. I wonder if status effect should be a property of some kind, similar to, we have a class for the battle unit and for stat pool. I would not be against having a class representing the status effect that something has. Yeah, that might make sense. So we want status effect of poison, or yeah, that's fine. Yeah, let's do it. Let's have a class name for it. All right, duplicate status effect. Now this is an individual instance. Status effect instance. So this is on a this is tied to a specific unit. A unit has this. Potency by default is going to be 1. Turns. Let's have total turns. No, total duration. And turns passed, which starts at 0. And I get, what is wrong with this? What is it not like? Oh, I'm thinking TypeScript, not number, int. I don't think we'll have an do we want an initialization? We probably do. And then actual effect is going to be a, well, it's going to be one of these status effect objects from the directory. So when you initialize it, you must provide the unit that is receiving it. You must provide the effect. Like this. That's the wrong way to indicate. That's not the model, but how about this? My unit, my effect, my potency duration. And turns past will just be 0. All right. Unit, my unit. Effect, my effect. Potency, my potency. And duration. My duration. And then we're gonna have a tick function. Just gonna tell it, all right, do the thing. Do the thing. All right, effect should have an action. So when we tick an effect, we're gonna run it. It's a callable. Is that how that works? I think that's how that works. How do the moves work? Show me your moves. Funky. Yeah, okay, that does work. That's a callable. So call it with the unit. I should probably call it with the instance. I should probably call it with the instance because that includes the unit. There we go. Because then we have things like the potency getting included. Wait, what do you not like here? What do you mean? What do you mean? Sorry, what do you not like here? Do you know what a status effect instance is? You seem to know what a status effect instance is. Not health. It is unit.hp. Yeah, it's a stat pool. Still doesn't like this for some reason. Unit.hp, which is a stat pool. Stat pool in turn. Pizza! What toppings did you get? This is very important. I still don't know why it doesn't like this. Battle unit. Unit. It's okay with that, but not with this. Oh, it can't find stat pool at all. But this is stat pool. It's right here. It's right there. Why can't you find stat pool? I don't need to define the class for stat pool, do I? Surely not. Pepperoni. I do like some pepperoni. I don't like it being so greasy, and my body does not care for that, but I do love pepperoni. For a while, I kind of started messing with mushrooms on pizza a bit. And I was like, you know what? It's not bad. It's actually not bad. Could not resolve member. Could not find type in the current scope. All right, let's research that a bit. What's going on with there? Could not find type in the current. Yeah, with Godot. Could not find type in the current scope when duplicating script files. What? Oh. Interesting. This might actually be... One workaround for resolving this issue appears to be comment out the class name statement, save, uncomment the class name statement. Let's try it. So that is stat. Oops. Oh my gosh, that worked. I don't like that that worked. That shouldn't have worked. You're gonna ask an 8-ball for a non-yes or no question? Come on now. Come on now. Get it together. Okay. So there we go. That's how that works. Stat pool. Is corrected. All right, so there you go. Effect is okay. We can do this whole thing now in one line. Effect.unit.hp dot change by -1. There you go. Yes. And in fact, negative potency. Okay, now when you process it, do not just do this, but also reduce the number of turns remaining. So after you process the status effects, you're not ready for that kind of information. After that effect, turns processed, or turns passed, you reduce it by, no, you increase it by 1. Oh, should I have turns passed or remain? I should have remaining turns. Or remaining duration. That's what I should have. And when that hits 0, then you can remove it. Well, that worked. This is an open bug in Godot, apparently. Bug 82392. It's open fall of last year. No one's been able to fix it yet. Yeah, people encountered it as recently as last week. Very strange. Well, we got it. We got it working. All right. Oh, that's not much at all. All right, so battle unit should have a okay. Battle unit should have a list of current status effects, I guess. Is that how that should work? Or should it be a dictionary of each status effect? I guess we can just do a list of status effects and just make sure we're not putting in duplicates. Because this allows them to be ordered, which I don't know if that makes any difference. Status effects is an array of status effect instances. Begins as an empty list. Now, when you apply a status effect, ooh, this is gonna get really, really weird. We got to make sure that if you already have poison, then the only way... Ugh. All right, you are poisoned with X potency for Y turns. If the poison is less than X potency, ignore it. If it is more than X potency, overwrite it. If it matches, then update the turns. Don't add them. Take whichever one is the highest number. The new versus the old number of turns. I think that's the way to do it. that's going to be what we end up doing for the algorithm. But as far as where that happens, I'm not sure yet. It might be part of some convoluted thing with animations flying around and everything, and that's fine. Donkey Kong 64, let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Get him, Mac. So I just need apply to unit. And then somehow that will deal with all of the, yeah, let's just do that. Apply to unit. Oh wait, no. See, that's part of the status effect itself, so we would need some kind of status effect helper class thing. Or a static method or something. No, it's when we initialize it. That's when we tack it on. And maybe this does something to the other stuff. Unit.statusEffects.append self. There you go. And then if remaining duration equals, well, let's say less than or equal to 0. Doesn't cost us anything else just to look for negatives. Then unit.statusEffects.remove. No. Isn't it remove? Erase. Erase self. Okay, now we have to make sure we tick the status effects. So that's going to be under our battle events. Battle events. Looking for the battle events. All right, so that will happen at the beginning of turn. Beginning of a turn, we will tick status effects. Of a list of units. Yeah, it's only at the beginning of the turn. If you somehow apply a status effect to yourself during your turn, what happens? I guess it depends. At the same time, read the nonsense of chat. The chat helps me with my creativity. Ooh, this is a tricky one. Status effects need to be able to do different things when they are. 8Ball agrees with me on this one. I think we can trust 8Ball. Imagine these two scenarios. During the turn, you use some kind of item, and it's one of these like items that does something random. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. You use the item on your partner, and it is the item that poisons them. Well, the way that poison works is you're not supposed to take damage until the start of your side's turns. So they do not immediately take damage until the next round. So that's all well and good. But if it's sleep, well, now this is different. They've fallen asleep. That means we need to set a flag right away, not just wait until the beginning of the turn to remove their ability to have a turn. So we need to have in our status effects actions. Action is instead going to be on turn start, and we're going to have a separate function that can happen called on apply. And you get this as soon as you get the status effect. Poison doesn't do anything on apply. I guess it could change, like on apply for poison could change your animation. Actually, that's a perfectly reasonable point there. On apply is going to change your animation to whatever kind of achy tummy animation that your character has. So that's very important. All right. So when you initialize a status effect on a unit, you're going to append it to the unit, and then you're going to call effect dot on apply. Where? Sorry, it's having a problem at battle events now? Oh, yeah, because I haven't actually finished that. Battle effects. Tick status effects. For unit... I think we're going to have functional status effects. They won't be drawn probably by the end of stream, but we should have them working. Do, 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 do. For status effect in unit.status effects. So we're going to process each of the status effects. We're in a loop, and we're about to start editing that array. That's bad style. Something's going to get skipped, and we're going to have a really weird bug that's going to take us ages to track down until we realize what we did wrong. But I already know what we did wrong. We shouldn't be removing this here. We should remove it. We should remove it here. We should do unit.statusEffects equals unit.statusEffects.filter a dot remaining turns greater than 0. Remaining duration. Oh, okay, so I've got this whole item system built into my bot that during some of the mini games you can win an item and you can use it or inspect it, and it's a dumb system and I really need to just trash it at some point. It's basically a very overly complicated gamble system. Like a lot of channels will just have !gamble, and then you put in a number of points, and you either win some points or lose the points you gambled, and that's it. And I built this whole overly complex system because that's my style, is overly complex systems. All right, for each status effect, we are going to process the status effect, which that is tick. And that's it, right? Just status effect.tick. Yeah, and that's going to call the action that's defined in our status effect dictionary, and it's going to reduce the duration by 1. There will be something for actually updating numbers and animating appropriately. We'll deal with that soon. Now, all we gotta do is actually apply this to our functions, which is going to happen right before we set the number of moves each player gets. before we do that, we're gonna make the status effects do their thing. And similarly for the enemies. Okay. I think that's it. Let's make a move, apply a status effect, and see if it works. Which move? Which move? The snail roll is a good one. Enemy snail roll. Action is going to immediately status effect instance dot new. That takes in a unit, which is target. A status effect. Oh, which for that I need to pull in the status effect directory. We're gonna give you poison for 3 turns. That should be it. Level 1 potency for 3 turns on the target. I think we're gonna find out if this works. Let's get into a fight. All right. Nothing is working because I forgot the event needs to return true when it's done. Or else it's just gonna be called every frame forever. Okay. Status effects have processed. There were no status effects. We're gonna do nothing and nothing. Okay, boom. I should be poisoned. I'm at 8 HP. Watch it. I'm at 8 HP. Block. Block, and I'm at 7 HP. I'm at 7 freaking HP. It did it. Poisoned. Ow! That's satisfying. We just built that massive, complicated system that was overbuilt for what we're doing at this point, and it just instantly worked. Okay. Now here's a question. What if the partner gets hit? Partner is poisoned. Keep an eye on that partner. Okay, watch that partner. Okay, 7, 14, 6, 13. Okay, partner now has 2 turns left to poison. He's at 13 health. Let's swap him out. All right, partner is at 13 health in our pocket. Snail is now poisoned. Dabble, that should be the last one of poison there. All right, so Frog is at 13 health. That's what we said. Let's just take another turn here. Okay, Dabble's poison just expired. Not yet, not yet. I mean, there will be, but not yet. Okay, Dabble's poison just expired. He did not take any poison damage that round. Bring back out the Frog. He should be at 13 health and still have 2 rounds of poison. Actually, swap partners. Now change partners. Frog is still at 13 health. Is he still poisoned? Let's find out. Okay, he's still at 13. He's still at 13. Give me 12. Give me 12. Yes. All right. The reason this is so important is there is a fun thing you can do with status effects stacking in Thousand Year Door. And we want to keep that because that is such a good system. The idea is status effects do not process while the partner is sitting on the bench. All right, this is going to go on forever, isn't it? Bring us back. There we go. So what you can do is basically throw a bunch of buffs on your partner and then put them in your pocket. And then the next round, pull them back out, throw another buff on them, put put them back in your pocket, and you can keep doing this, and then you basically have this beast of a partner ready to go once a certain phase of the battle is upon you or something. So it's a way that you can kind of really plan on destroying bosses by just having one in your pocket that's just filled up with beneficial status effects. And it works. That system is working. We will try to get the actual status effects to show up. It's not going to be fully functioning, but we can at least try and get a placeholder drawn on top, which is not the single card, but the container. Here we go. Is that how we want to do this? It's probably how we want to do this. So this needs to make sure that every once in a while it is requesting, okay, what status effects are in place. Oh, that reminds me. Status effect to do don't stack, same effect. So that's important, is that if you're already poisoned, you can only have one poison effect active at a time. It's going to prioritize the one that has the higher potency, and then secondly, it'll prioritize the one that has the highest duration, if it's a tie. And then this will be for this other stuff. Okay. Status effect container. Yeah, this is just gonna... We're just gonna throw this on top of something. I don't know. Health bar. How did we... Okay. Health bar has a way of targeting. It is looking for just the position. Just the position of the entity. And I think that means, yeah, it's looking for the bottom of the entity. We want to look for the top of the entity. And that's actually going to be a little bit tricky. Unless we do this. We know that each actor has a collision shape. We should be able to grab that. Snail. Pig. What is up with your collision box, my man? What is even happening here? You don't have any excuse for this. Like, what is happening with you? Like, this, I kind of get. I don't know. I still don't know what's happening there. Snail is now floating. Pig is now floating. What? Why are they floating? Why are you guys floating? Why is your okay, your collision shape is there. Your sprites are, your legs are there. That's fine. But like, your collision shape is here. And your sprites are here. The collision shape should be what controls where you, why is your, what? How? What's happening? Why do we have Hover Pig? How did this happen? Why are they floating? Wait, why are they floating? Okay, go over to the remote. Battle scene, actors. Pig. This pig right here. It is you, right? Yeah, that's the pig. This is Pig. He has a collision shape. It is a box shape. I can't edit this. Oh no. I'm sorry, sir. Wait, hang on. I can. If I stay way over here, it might be okay to try and figure out what this guy's deal is. Snail actor. Collision shape. Why is this collision shape this way? I cannot edit this at all. I can edit the position of the collision shape though. Yeah, look at that. If I bring it down to 0, it looks fine. Yeah, 0 on the snail looks fine. So let's open up the snail. When pigs fly. So we have the size of the collision shape, and we have the transform of the collision shape. And when it's at 0, that doesn't make any sense. Why does that put him on the ground? What is happening here? Why is the sprite... Okay, also, why is the sprite this big? Oh, because it's just a huge... Yeah, it's just because it's a huge drawing, isn't it? This old test drawing we used is massive. Okay, that's probably why we get this massive orange box, but that doesn't explain... It's the Germ Dove. I know him. Is that YouTube partner Germ Dove? We got the nod. Germ Dove, we've confirmed that we have working status effects, but now the pigs are flying, and I don't understand why, so we're going to spend the rest of the night looking at that. It's different from different sides. Isn't it amazing? Aren't pigs supposed to fly? Well, you'd think so. No. I'm just so confused. Like, is there something happening here? There's probably something happening here, right? Position... No, this only deals with rotation. So this code only deals with the rotation. were you a big YouTuber TikTok guy? I missed that. I mean, for a lot of people, I bet every time they open up YouTube at the same time every night, there you are. And they're like, well, he must be some big YouTube guy. I'm not going to question it. Nothing here is affecting the position. Nothing in this character body code is affecting the position. Okay, let's do something dumb. Oh, man. Man, his stream, like, I don't watch his streams. The only thing I know about him is occasionally seeing him listed in my recommended on Twitch, and that he made this hack. And so I popped in occasionally recently to see what's going on in the wake of his hack, and it's like he's just got this massive grid of people playing his hack. It is quite a sight to see. Yeah. Let's do this. Let's add... Can I do this? Add child node. Add a mesh. Add a mesh that is a box. Imagine a box. There it is. There's the box. Can you see it? And make it match this. This size here, Z.1. 684. this one 575. Okay. Transform is 0, 0, 0. Same as this. All right, so this box represents the collision shape. What? Why is the collision shape floating? I'm perplexed. I'm actually confused. The collision is supposed to be the collision. Is there something in character body I don't understand? All right, hang on. Just make a new character body. And it should be like, oh, you need a collision. You need a collision shape for that. Yeah, it has no collision. That's what defines its shape, is the collision shape. This collision shape defines... Something very strange is going on here. You too? You don't have a matching collision shape either. So what happens if I change your collision shape? Now where are my frogs? What are my frogs doing? Now they're floating. Although not quite as much, but still. There is some definite floating going on. Reverse the polarity. Now we're talking. All right. All right. Wait a second. Look at this. Collision mesh. No, collision shape is big now because I changed it on Frog Actor. Is that why? What are you? No, it's Base Actor. Do I need to make unique? Where is make unique? How can I make it unique? Make unique. This might be it. Make unique. Make it unique. All right, Frog Actor, done. Snail Actor. First off, get rid of this mess. Make this box unique. I think that's our issue here. Pig Actor, make this box unique. Make my box unique. Oh, thank goodness. Fight the snail. All right, everyone's on the ground again. Oh, that probably means the player as well needs that. All right, better to learn that when we only have a handful of things. Yeah, he's a cylinder, so he's definitely unique. Okay, we got it. We got it. That was a mess. All right, we do need to in-stream. Gotta get up in the morning. Why are they not flat? If only. Ray Germ Dove? What? Some sort of germ dove raid. I'm probably not going to end up doing a stream tonight. Because I have literally no time left. This was good though. We have the art that we're going to use for status effect stuff. We've got a different version for more potent status effects. We'll need to write code for handling the art. I just had seriously hard deja vu just now. Of course I've done status effects on this exact game at this exact time of night with these exact people in chat. Anyway. Functionality is there. It is actually processing the effects. It is holding the effects when you swap partners out, which is amazing. To do, status effects need to be cleared when a character dies. That'll come up at some point. We haven't really implemented player side death yet. We'll get to it. But we need to make this container. This container is going to be its own complicated thing that's going to read what the player's status effects are right now and update the cards to match. Probably not every frame, just in the instance of spending less time doing it, but pretty frequently. And it'll do something like, you know, things will fade out, things will shift into position, all that good stuff. So yeah, that's it. A lot of good stuff. We got some new good ideas for different status effects we can add later. There's a lot of different ones we need to implement, and we still need to do like actual animation to indicate like different things. We'll figure it out. It's fine. All right. So everybody, thank you for hanging out. Have a wonderful night, and I will be back Sunday, maybe for Alquest, depending. It's scheduled. We will see if it comes through in the end. That's it. Have a good night, everybody.